Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by CoolSomething.com, Mana Traders, as well as Twitch subs and Patreon supporters just like you. My name is Evan Irwin, and get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Power Dragon.
What's up, everybody? And I gotta say, after this week, if you say Foundations is bad, you're just wrong.
Ruben Bressler.
What's up, friends, enemies, and undecideds? I'm excited to be back again. It's been 2 weeks now.
Been a couple weeks, and that's okay. Now, we are going to kick it off as we do with our first pick and our promo code reminder. Visit CoolStuffInc.com and use promo code MagicMics to save 5% off anything in the store, sealed supplies, whatever you want. Get 5% off of it by using promo code MagicMics. You're supporting us. Show your support for your favorite streamer with your suggestions at the end of the show to see who we raid tonight. All thanks to CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day. Again, use promo code MagicMics, one word. Now, that said, since it's been a couple weeks, we get to go back a couple weeks to see some drama. And one giant chunk of drama was there was a secret lair that featured Marvel characters, and there were issues, technically. There were issues with, quote-unquote, cutting the line. There were issues with, options that they chose that they could have chosen to make it more, I think, secure. Again, I don't have full info on that regard. But I do know that the way it's set up, some people were able to cut the line. It took many hours. There was some sort of pause and unpausing thing. Of course, all of them sold out almost instantly. Some people were left with the sour taste in their mouth, and here we are once again.
Here's the thing. It's not even the line cutting that's the problem. It's not it's literally just the quantity. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, think about it. Think about it.
It brings the FOMO.
It doesn't, though. FOMO only works if there's a point where you can capitalize on it. Like, we're not making any more available. We're actually reaching the point where people don't even try to get them. So it's doing the opposite, right? So it's not like there's no FOMO here. Yeah. Like, there's really not. Like, if through the year, because this is what, the sixth one we've had this year where this has been a problem. Like, sure, we could keep increasing the numbers till you get to where, like, you're at that 90% point. And then you go, okay, now there's some FOMO because there's enough to go around, but not quite enough. And if you miss out, you're going to feel bad because all your friends got one. Mm-hmm. Right now, people don't even bother. I know I don't even bother because there's other people who are going to want it more than me. So I don't want to take somebody else's opportunity. But I would be good for probably $200 worth of sales if they were available. Right? Like, and not only that, you paid writers to go write articles on different sites. Like, you went out, hell, even at MagicCon, they had these big standees with digital art boards or whatever, showing stuff from the secret layers or whatever. So you spend all this extra money to promote it, but there ain't even none to be bought. Like, what is, and you're paying a licensing fee on top of it.
I mean, for what it's worth, this is the very definition of FOMO in that we're only going to make so many. Good luck getting some. Now, whether that is the right amount of FOMO, I think is debatable. But, they did, and I can imagine they made more than usual, quote unquote, whatever than usual means. But they knew this was going to be a hit. I mean, hell, even Chris Cox was out there saying, look, this is going to sell out, and we know it is.
Well, hell, the Hatsune Miku sold out. The Monty Python sold out. The
Princess Bride sold out.
Yeah, the Princess Bride sold out. Like, this isn't news. Like, we should be making more. Here's the thing. There are people right now that will never even have an opportunity to buy them because they're at work. Right. Like, if they go live at 8 a.m. Pacific time or whatever, if you're on the clock somewhere, unless you're on your lunch break, you don't even get a chance to buy them. Hell, there's a lot of places you can't even have your cell phone on the floor to try. So, like, if you want to make more money, which is the bottom line of this game at the corporate level, easy solution, just have a window open for 24, 48 hours. Everybody has a chance to buy them. You make them to order, done. Probably would have sold $2 or $3 million worth of these damn things.
Well, and Ruben, feel free to jump in if you'd like. But what I saw was essentially we have seen Wizards. Wizards has had the opportunity and the time to try almost every different method that you can think of. I mean, if I can think of, The Walking Dead was like the 24 hours or whatever of sales. They did that one. And they started to do things with like little windows. Maybe I think it was 3 days or something for a while. And then they did stuff like print to order. And I could imagine the sales just kind of kept dropping because there was no FOMO. Now, granted, they have to probably shoot in the dark as to what number to make. But there is some amount that they're okay with making. And that is the set amount that they're going to make. And you can also approach companies and licenses and say, Like for example, like the Monty Python one, right? We're going to make X and you're going to make Y. And we are very confident that we're going to make all of it. You know what I mean? We're going to sell every single one of them. And that's a guaranteed payday. And there's power in that.
I guess it just seems like it's just not worth. Like, there's more money on the other side of this. You can't convince me when we see all these people saying they wanted one and didn't get one. And we know for every person that complains, there's probably 10 or 20 more that didn't.
You can't min-max every system ever of sales units, right?
I'm not even saying min-max it. Like I said, a 24-hour window or a 48-hour window, still there's going to be people who miss it because they forget or whatever, don't set their alarm, whatever the case may be. Those people just don't get one. But everybody who wants one at least gets a chance at one. The only thing I can put in my head that it probably makes sense is it has something to do with them being able to move stuff around in the print process. That knowing how long they need the printers or have to pre-print stuff or whatever makes it easier for them on the business end.
Now, on that, and if I recall correctly, and this is also because this has happened to me for a few times, which is you would order a secret layer that was print to order, but you wouldn't actually pay for it. Like, it wouldn't actually hit your bank account until it was shipped. So like there was a wait period essentially of saying like I will buy the $100 EDH deck or whatever they made, that commander deck, and then it ships a year later, and then this $100 plus charge comes sort of out of nowhere because they had to print it and ship it to order, and they couldn't charge you until then. I could be misremembering that, but I can also know how that would kind of make things wonky.
But that to my knowledge, that only happened with the secret layer thing because it was like some weird. I think that was the ones like the double-sided printed things with the heads I win, tails you lose, or whatever.
But I'm thinking, I want to say it affected the other ones that were printed to man, but I can't recall exactly.
All the other ones I've got were fine. They showed up like usually 6 to 8 weeks later, somewhere in that window. So it was a couple months, but like.
And the heads I win, tails you lose was 100 cards, which is 10 times more pieces of cardboard than
that's also
shipped out.
Cool.
So that one, I mean, I could have told you that one was going to be slightly longer delays. It weighs more. It's literally 10 times as much physical material.
Oh yeah. And
so as it pertains to this kind of like attempting to capture the feeling of FOMO or capture the roller coaster tycoon of it all, trying to maximize sales from just a purely value marketing, the hype shtick kind of standpoint. They've it's boring for me at this point to like it's stock trading. Like, how do I maximize value as a Fortune 500 company? Cool. Like, I'm proud of them.
I mean, look, from the marketing side of things, it's good that you can say something sold out in like 2 hours.
Right.
Like, that's powerful. It really is.
Is that better than saying we made $3 million off of this promotion?
Sometimes.
Depends.
Like, sometimes
I disagree.
The marketing power of saying we have products that are so hot, we can barely keep them in stock for more than a couple hours. That draws in more people. That doesn't draw in less people. People are like, what the hell?
But if you go to somebody and say, we want to work with you because we know in a 24-hour period we're going to sell between $2.5 and $3 million of your license.
But if it comes down to like printing and the print production,
that's the issue I can at least be talked into. But even then, like hell, we're again 7 months down the road from when we started talking about this. Just increase the production number.
Like, what should those numbers be? Right? I don't know what the right number for Marvel should have been.
But you know what? Every single one of these should at least be 10% more than the last one. like yes.
You don't want to, you don't want to have them sit out there. You don't want to have them not sell out. That's the worst case scenario.
Agreed. But when things are selling out in some of them under 4 hours, you're not even close. Like you haven't even come close to tapping how many.
Yeah, but if you grow too fast, if you get too big, if you sell too many, that's going to exacerbate the issue of there being too many cards being released anyway.
And that's what I'm saying. Not a big increase. Like I said, 5-10%. That's all you need each time.
Yeah, but 5-10% each time is exponential.
But if the other one hits you hit your sellout point at hour 10, then you stop. You don't go up again after that. You only do it till you reach that number.
Right. I think there's some amount of there's marketing power in selling out of things. There's marketing power in FOMO, and there's a certain amount of production that you have to fit in the middle of that to make all of that work. And I think we've seen them dance around, make production work with our sales tactics many times.
I don't know. I'm at the point you can't sell me on it. Like there's too much more money being left on the table. And if the end of the game is to say we want to say so we made more money and at the end of the year make our shareholders happy, I can't imagine they've left no less than $5 million on the table this year in secret layers.
No one's happy with Hasbro sell price or their stock prices. It's always been bad and gotten worse no matter kind of what
Sure.
happens from Wizards.
I'm just talking about Wizards as a whole. Their bottom line to show like, hey, these things do make more money. Like
Right.
that's why when people say Hasbro's pushing Wizards to make every dollar possible, I don't think that's necessarily true. We just solved the secret layer problem already.
Well, if it is true that they cannot charge you until they ship the product, then pre-printing an amount that you're very confident you'll sell anyway. A, you know you're going to likely sell it. B, you're going to get all the money in. It's not going to like weirdly trickle in over a series of production runs. Does that make more sense, I guess? Like,
I
so
get
that-
what you're saying, but I
Right.
also feel like if we get to where that FOMO number is at the 80% mark of the community that wanted to buy it,
Mhm.
you would still have enough money, well more than enough, even if 10% of those orders didn't come through because of whatever reason.
This conversation's gone on long enough.
We're going to move on here. We're going to move
Well,
on
so
here out of first pick.
ultimately, there were some complaints about the
Oh,
system.
lots of complaints.
Lots
I'm
of
sure that
complaints.
they're going to take a good long look in the mirror about the system, particularly when they embarrass themselves in front of Tony Stark. But we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough. Let's move out of the first pick to gather the townsfolk, where we talk about community issues. Thanks to our sponsor, Mana Traders, the best tool to enhance your Magic Online experience. Use the code MagicMikes_IQJ. That's MagicMikes_IQJ for 10% off your next subscription with Mana Traders. Tell them we sent you, and we appreciate them sponsoring the show. Now, one of the things that was terribly unfortunate that happened over this past couple-week period was the passing of JBro. Jonathan Brostoff was not only very active in the Cube community, helping to run the CubeCon, as I understand it,
Yep.
and did a bunch of work there, which was great. And unfortunately, passed recently, suddenly, as it were, unexpectedly, without being able to trigger YouTube censors and things.
Yeah.
But really, really awful stuff. Because not only that, I didn't even know he was an alderman in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He was in the political scene, and like the governor wrote a letter like about his passing, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Great, but obviously it's terrible. But just kind of shows how important that man was and how much impact he had locally. And of course, our thoughts go out to his family and friends for their loss. And we'll link the GoFundMe here in the chat and in the notes.
He
Yeah,
was a part of the Wisconsin State Assembly. He was part of the Wisconsin Jewish Federation, which of course, hits close to home for me. He was also part of that type 1 diabetes research fundraiser that Brian David Marshall ran earlier this year. That I was also a part of.
Nice.
So, JBro has been a member of the Cube community for, almost 2 decades. He's
I was going to say, since the beginning.
since the beginning.
Way back in the day.
Milwaukee, standout in the community as well. Of course, being from Wisconsin, just a sad circumstance, and it is worth remembering him. People who help build this game and want to help build a community around it.
Yep. That's the whole thing, unfortunately. Meanwhile, we have another passing, unfortunately, which is Greg Hildebrandt, which was he was 85 years young, but always unfortunate when people pass that way.
Yeah, passed on Halloween, didn't he?
Ooh, was he? That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
I mean, Greg Hildebrandt and his brother Tim, some of the most indelible Magic art that has ever appeared. Not just Magic art.
I was going to say fantasy art as a whole. Yeah.
In general, yeah. He and his brother did the illustrated pop-up book of dragons that I received, I think, on my 4th or 5th birthday. That was one of my most indelible memories growing up. He did so many cards over the history of Magic that were, not just played, but remembered specifically for their art. Things like Cabal Ritual come to mind for Greg. Also, for me, Undead Warchief is the card that sticks out in my head because that sort of has that sort of cartoony but also terrifying vibe to it.
Tooth and nail, man.
And
Tooth and nail.
huh?
See, the
Oh, yeah,
first
tooth and
time
nail.
Tooth and nail.
I encountered both of the Hildebrandt's work was when I was like 11.
Yeah,
And it was the Marvel Masterpieces art
sure.
cards.
Oh,
They did a
man,
bunch
they're
of
so
those.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I first saw their stuff. And then I found out like, oh, they do stuff in like Dragon Magazine and blah blah blah. And
Mhm.
like then I got introduced to a bunch of other stuff they did. But that's where I first encountered them, which
Right.
was
Yeah.
kind of crazy because I just found out that his brother Tim, I didn't realize he had passed years ago.
Yeah, he passed a
Mhm.
long time ago.
Yeah, so much
mean,
younger.
Greg
than
Hildebrandt did all the
Hildebrand.
signets. So all the OG
All the
signets.
signets he
Mhm.
did. Golgari Grave Troll.
He did
Uh,
with his
let's
brother.
see,
He did all sorts of stuff. Like
Trinisphere.
Chroma's Vengeance with his brother,
Mhm.
which
Yeah,
is great.
he did. I think he did the entire War Chief cycle. Actually, if I'm
Oh,
thinking
wow. I
correctly.
think so.
Bridge from Below. He did Bridge from Below.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I mean, he did like probably 200 cards.
Oh, he did, yeah, a whole bunch. I got them pulled up here. I mean, again, this is between him and his brother, can also be included, but 161 cards between at least him by himself and or his brother.
Wow.
Just some absolutely classic stuff that you will, when you run out the name of the card, you'll know exactly what it looks like. When I say Chroma's Vengeance and you've seen and or played with it, you know exactly what that looks like. And I think
He's
that's
also
fantastic.
he's also got a style that when you see it, you're like, oh, that's Greg Hildebrandt.
Mhm.
It's got sort of that like clean but cartoony aspect to it.
Kind of almost sort of a sheen, a nice finish or whatever
Yeah.
on the character. So again, always awful, unfortunately, when artists pass, but they did a fantastic job with their impact.
Yeah.
On the
Hey,
game.
85 is a good run though.
85 is a good run.
Heck of a solid run. As
A
I'm
fine
over here,
vintage.
I'm over here
Yep.
running into old man problems at 44. So God help us, everyone. All
Hey, you
right.
got another 40 in you. Shush.
There you go.
Every Wednesday right here. We're going to move on here to Desperate Raving to talk a little about stuff we rant and rave about. There was some conversation about universes within, and goes a little bit into the Marvel stuff, but mainly people are just like, hey, there's so much in universe stuff that we care about. There's so much universes beyond that's coming next year, and all of the gnashing of teeth about that. And what's going to happen to all of those cards that were mechanically unique in those secret layers that they released, and they're working on making those available and so on. The most interesting thing to me to come out of sort of all this chatter was the idea of there being a universes within only format. That as standard is now going to have Spider-Man and Final Fantasy characters and whatever, we create basically a new format that is maybe standard without Universes Beyond, or modern without Universes Beyond, or whatever.
I mean, I guess.
New lines in the sand.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, I guess if people want that bad enough, sure. I mean, I've said from the beginning, the minute I saw that we were going to be doing all of these commander sets and the Lord of the Rings last year, somewhere in the back of my mind is like, down the road, we're going to get a universes within Masters, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
sure.
my expectation.
Yeah, because we're going to have, hell, after this year and last year, probably 300 cards or so that probably will eventually need to be reprinted. So in 2026-ish, let's say, that'd be a good place to put one.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have plenty of cards to include in there.
I mean, the One Ring is screaming, begging for a reprint. And that's where it would go. Like, that's where I would expect it. But, they say if there's a large enough player base that cares, they'll respond to it. And they also compare it to Commander. Commander didn't come from Wizards. That wasn't something they sort of pushed or they, put any sort of resources into. And then they were like, oh, this is very popular. Let's give it a shot. And then off they went. And so if this is a thing that people organize around, make your own tournaments, make your own metagame, get people excited about the idea of not playing with Spider-Man and friends or whatever in standard, that's cool. If we're just going to keep it with Jace and company, nothing wrong with that either. So
I did just notice that the Scryfall homepage has when you go to the Scryfall homepage, they always have 7 random cards that are themed together, and currently they are all Greg Hildebrandt art.
Nice.
Did just notice that.
Oh, that's lovely. I mean, look at his Force of Negation from Double Masters 2022. Just gorgeous. Which is fantastic.
Yeah, the dude's range was very big.
Yep. This should have been in Gather the Townsfolk. I put this in the wrong section, but either way, speaking of secret layers, speaking of print to order, There was a Sheldon Spellbook last year that was created as a charity
Yeah.
drive for the American Cancer Society, working, of course, with Sheldon Menery, who unfortunately had passed away shortly before it were unveiled. And they were able to finally announce that the Magic community has raised over $2.1 million for the American Cancer Society. There's lots of people saying they bought multiples. I know I bought a foil and a non-foil.
Amazing.
I don't even plan to open it. I just, I mean, you gotta support your budro. Like me and Sheldon
Yeah.
were friendos doing for a very, very long time. And yeah, just it was great. It was a great thing to support and show. And there was a fantastic video from Gavin Verhey, from his Good Morning Magic, where he talks about the difference that he felt it made. He not only did Sheldon made in his life, but also this was really heartfelt, and that we came
Yeah.
out and really showed what the community can do when we all work together.
This video only has about 3,000 views, which I'm shocked by.
We gotta fix that.
We got to fix that. This is an important video to go watch, in my opinion. It's a really this is a recap and a homage to what this community can do, and particularly in a week it's a thematic week for us, actually. In a week where we've lost some community members, in a week where we've lost some important members of the artist community, and we look back on people that we remember who are no longer here. You don't always get to thank people while they're here, but if you get to thank them after they're gone, and you show the people that loved them that they were loved, that's also nice. And so, I hope that when I pass someday, that I'll be remembered by the people who liked me. Maybe I won't get my own secret lair, but it's nice to be remembered. And if all it takes for me is to click a video once or hit a like button, then that's enough.
I think though, even beyond that, that it's good to have some positive content out there every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for us to get hung up on complaining about secret layers or whatever the case is. But sometimes it's like, you know what? But there are good things that come from all this stuff we do too. And I think sometimes that needs to be just out there in the universe so people get reminded that, like, hey, this is why we do some of this, because of the camaraderie, because of the community, being able to help people and raise money or help people up when they're down, right? We're playing a game, but this is still very much a part of what goes on around us.
Yeah. Let's talk about the good things that came about because of a lot of, the things that we've talked about this week. JBro was participated in a lot of charity stuff, including Cube for Charity, which still happens. Sheldon obviously was a huge part of the American Cancer Society research, the BDM stuff with the type 1 diabetes, and the Desert Bus for Hope that's happening right now. Magic players are very good at, and then Tolarian Community College runs his charity,
his Trans Lifeline charity,
the Trans Lifeline stuff. So, the Magic community is uniquely qualified and particularly good at these kind of charitable drives, and it's good to have a memory of that.
It's also cool that people are giving back to JBro. Like his GoFundMe, I believe, was at 95% or something. So
almost
good on them, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love to see that, because it just, it helps support his family, left 3 small children, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is just heartbreaking. As a dad, I understand it's tough, but, anything you guys can do to support, that'd be great. If nothing else, share, you know what I mean? Like, we live in this weird timeline where you liking and sharing something is
it really earnestly helps.
Really
I know that it's the YouTube thing to say of be sure to leave a like and a comment, the things the algorithm likes. But even if there wasn't an algorithm and I was the only person that saw it, I would get a dopamine hit from getting a like, right? So if it is a very small way to leave a memory. It's like taking a rock and placing it on a tombstone, which is something that we do in Judaism. It's just a nice small reminder that people care.
And honestly, it's free. I think that's one of the things people can get caught up of. I have people all the time tell me, man, I wish I could support you, but I'm light on funds or don't have money till next month. I was like, dude, you could just share my stuff. Like if
Yeah.
there's a post on Twitter or Blue Sky, whatever, just retweet it. You
Yeah,
know,
like it,
if-
respond to it, say what you liked or didn't like about it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
maybe not like about it because it's
If we
about
make
that
a
stuff.
fun
But
video and you think it appeals to somebody in your play group, be like, hey, you should check this person out, or this podcast is something you might want to listen to, or whatever the case is.
Right.
That goes a long way, and it's free.
yeah, it's funny because for me, every once in a while, and I read these things every once in a while, maybe every 3, sometimes every 6 months, there'll be somebody who will go back to the Magic Show #1 and they'll leave a thing and they'll be like, I can't believe this is like so old, or I can't believe I used to watch this back in the day, or I grew up on this show or whatever. And that's always like super touching. You know what I mean? Like the people that, A, thought about it enough, B, went back to go check it out and see, where spend some time to say what they felt about it. And that happens not necessarily always on #1. Sometimes it's like Pro Tour shows or whatever, or certain shows where I make some joke or whatever that they thought was funny and remember it years later. But all that stuff, it matters to people who make things, because yeah, we're only here temporarily, no matter what happens, and
Yeah.
eventually we won't be here. And so maybe some of my favorite stuff you like now, and you can tell me about, and you'll like later, you can tell me about then too. So yeah, it's tough, but we all want to, I think, leave some sort of legacy. Uh, depends on the person,
Yeah.
but generally, I don't want to leave something terrible behind, right? I want to leave good stuff, or felt like I did good things and impacted good ways,
Right.
versus not.
Also, to that point, we talk about sometimes how social media can bog us down and all this negativity showing up on your feed.
Right.
Some of that is because that's what you interact with, right? The systems are trying to show you more of what it seems you enjoy. So share and comment and,
Yeah.
retweet all this other more positive stuff so you get more of that in your
Hmm.
feed. Like fight against those algorithms a little bit and show them like, hey, I like this person, or I like, I don't know, parody videos or whatever it happens to be that just you find entertaining so you get more of that. That also
Right.
helps.
I think that, and we're getting into a real esoteric
Sure.
topic at this
We
point,
got a
but
few minutes. It's fine.
I'm feeling like having this conversation. Um, I've been thinking a lot about legacy recently, not the format, but actual lowercase l legacy, because of my LARP character.
Hmm.
And I play a game that is very deadly and characters go away permanently, and it's called perming. And it's hard to in a game be remembered, much less in something that is so ephemeral as
Mm.
something that you do like 8 times a year at
Hmm.
most. And so, how do you be remembered? How do you leave your mark? A lot of people research spells or rituals, and a lot of people try to make art for the space, or they try to do some big heroic thing that has occurred. And that's difficult. It's a difficult thing to capture and to think, how do I get remembered? When I pass away, what is the top line of my obituary? And I don't know that I've done it in Magic. I don't know that I'll be, if and when I pass away while people are still playing Magic, will the top line of my obituary be about the newsening? Will it be about my
Mm.
time? Will it be about my time at Star City Games?
Hmm.
Will it be about creating the Broken Pact? Will it be about Magic Mics, which we've done for 10 years now? Or will it be about something I haven't done yet? I don't know. There's no way for me to know yet. And so, but constantly thinking about that is, I don't think that that's unhealthy. I think thinking, how do I want to be remembered, is
Sure.
actually kind of healthy. And I think that JBro will be remembered for bringing community together and being a leader in the Milwaukee area. I think Greg Hildebrandt will be remembered for his specific type of happy kind of fantasy art. I think that Sheldon obviously is going to be remembered for being the godfather of the most popular format of Magic, but more than that, being the godfather and the face of, friendly competition and hitting hard but in safe places kind of deal. And those are kinds of the kinds of people that we want to strive for and to become. And, it's a sad week. We had a rough week last week, and this week wasn't exactly not a downer.
Maybe we're in
But
our
it's good.
feelings a little bit. It's all right.
It's good to
Yeah.
reflect. It's good to have those moments.
Right.
You can't always have chocolate cake for dinner. Sometimes you have to have your vegetables.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up because I've had that conversation with somebody, I want to say it was late last week, that as far as it pertains to Magic, really up until, I started doing YouTube videos and stuff, most of my impact is stuff nobody will ever know about, talk about, or see.
Mhm.
It's people on the business end, it's individual store owners. Hell, even stuff I did at Wizards, except for when I share stories on a podcast, like nobody knows those things happened or that I was responsible for them. I get to walk into a store and know they're enjoying a thing I was responsible for, but like they don't know who I am. So like that's kind of a weird thing too, of just like I know I did the right thing and I know I brought joy to people, but I also know most of the people that experience it won't know I was involved with it. And that's kind of like a weird place to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's how comfortable you like to be behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Some people really enjoy that. Just being able to go back and fix things and don't have a spotlight, don't have some megaphone. They're just back there making things awesome. And they had a really great idea that they implemented, and no one really knew. No one's going to talk about it on the front end, but on the back end, it changed everything.
Yeah.
That type of stuff I really enjoy. And I've known people like that, where like they just don't want a spotlight. They don't like, they're awesome. You try to tout how awesome they are, but they're just like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Man, I will tell y'all, we got to get a booth for a signing during a Magic Con in the creator area, because one of the nicest things is genuinely people coming up and just being like excited that you exist in their space.
Yeah.
Like that you acknowledge them for being a fan of your thing. Like one guy, he came in and I think it was on Saturday because they were there on Friday, but I guess they didn't see me or whatever. But he was there with his dad and his dad couldn't be there on Saturday because of a work thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him if he had his phone. I did like a little 20-second video for his dad.
Mm-hmm.
When his dad responded, I was like the greatest thing in the world for him. And I was just like, that is so awesome to be able to make somebody happy for just, saying, hey, thanks for being a fan, whatever. Sorry you couldn't be here.
Well,
So like we got to get y'all to one of those so you can at least have that moment and get some of your flowers for the work y'all have put in.
and I've had a few of those, in the past. It's been a long time. I haven't been to an event since 2019. I think was Vegas 2019. But next,
I think that was the first one.
yeah, next year. I think 2018 was the first one. I think I went to the second one, but either way, next year in Atlanta, there's one in September, and that's around my birthday.
Yes.
And that's a thing that we might maybe be able to work it. It's been a hot minute since I've done a public appearance, so maybe we can do another one.
You're overdue.
I applied for a creator badge for Chicago. This is a thing that wasn't in the roundup, but I think it's worth bringing up. D&D creators can apply for content area in Chicago.
Nice.
So that's new. That is new information to me. So I was like, well, I don't know that I do enough just in Magic, but between Magic and D&D, I can apply for one.
And if you want to apply at all, I believe it's only till November 17th, so just a few more days. Okay. So deadline is short.
I put the link in the chat for both Twitch and YouTube. So let's go ahead.
To your point, that does show that Magic Cons are going to be expanding and they're adding more stuff. And
they are.
Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some old school comic book artists as we get to the end of 2025 and some of those events.
Man, I'm telling you, but just because of how much I play Marvel Snap and I know how much they've used like Marvel art and even like old covers and things and how far you could go without on a Magic card. Oh my God, it's going to be so sick.
Yeah.
I just hope they go in every direction they can. Like they have so much they can dig into. It's going to be sweet. Let's go ahead and turn the corner here to the finisher. Now, the One Piece card game. It's coming out with the Sound Loader, a new accessory that will play sound effects for you as you play your cards. That's something. So tell me, what sound effects are you looking forward to using when you pick up your Sound Loader, Ruben?
This is literally my nightmare. When you sent me the thing, I was like, I don't want your sound effects. But what are you doing? Anyway, so the shing and the sneaked noises that come out of the sound loader are fine and all, but the only sound effect that I need is a sad trombone on turn 3 when I fail to find my third land. Wah, wah.
Turn the thing.
Ooh, you get the prices right when that.
Sadness. Power Dragon?
Well, seeing as I'm on the Commander format panel, there's literally only one sound that my sound loader needs to have. And it's just simply, did you pay the one?
Did you pay the? You just turn the box and just pay the one.
Exactly.
I like
pay the one. Pay the what? Just keep turning it. Now, look, I'm going to program my sound loader with a speed metal Dream Theater Dragon Force style guitar solo so I can go into the red zone in style and also grab a second one with Sarah McLachlan from When I Get Wrath to turn later. It's, yeah.
Oh,
And the arms of the
on the
angel.
wings of an angel.
That's right. As they wrath away all my creatures.
As you slowly scoop your cards up off to the
But
side.
you got to have a token that's got the sad one-eyed dog looking through the cage.
Right.
Christ. It's another live episode of Magic Mike's. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Power Dragon.
Hey, as always, good to be here. And man, go enjoy playing some cards because there's a bunch of good ones out right now.
It's a good time to be a Magic player. Thank you, Ruben.
Hey, thanks for having us, guys. Thanks for tuning in every week, and we'll see you soon.
We appreciate you. We move on here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com. Use the promo code MagicMikes. Our co-sponsor, Mana Traders, my co-host, Power Dragon, and Ruben Bressler. You guys for watching and listening. I hope you support us at patreon.com/MagicMikes. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us on our exclusive member Discord, live on twitch.tv at MagicMikes, live or taped on our YouTube channel. Don't follow us on Twitter, but do follow us on Blue Sky at magicmikes.bsky.social or TikTok at Magic Mike's Cast, or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mike's. Good night, everybody.